So you remember, this is the Gothic Victorian necklace that I made using a big plastic rose I had. It fell off an old picture I had. It was one of those placards that say something, and so I took it, I cleaned it up, and I cut some of the glittery cardstock, glued that, glued the rose over it, and then glued some acrylic gemstones around this, and did up to some filigree. If you hear some noises, that's my cats. They always go crazy when I make videos because they want my sole attention, and it's not. So then I added all this filigree, and I show you this filigree in my jewelry tutorials. There's tons of filigree, and I show you a set that was originally gold, but I spray painted it with a Mira Finish spray paint that was like $4 at Home Depot. And I hung it up with a piece of wire. My husband did it for me. He hung it up with a piece of wire so we can get all around, and they were dangling, and he sprayed the front and the back. And because they have holes, you can make a little hook like that, see? And so that's how that turned out. And so we're going to do something similar, but we're going to do opposite. And since I don't have any red glittery cardstock, I'm going to paint the cabochon using one of my red nail polishes and a little glitter to do the same effect as this. I should have picked it up when I was in there, but I was in a rush, and it was last minute, and I wasn't feeling well that day, so it was a rush. But you could always get glittery red cardstock. I got this at Hobby Lobby. This is black glittery. They have one that's a heavier glitter, or this one that's a mild glitter, okay? And it's from the Paper Studio, just like these. So it's all at Hobby Lobby, and they have all different colors. So if you want a pink background to make it more Victorian and girly, but this was more Gothic Victorian. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. So you can clean this, okay? Make sure there's nothing in there. Now, like I said, I don't have any red cardstock, so I'm going to find the darker of the red. I don't know. They're both similar. So I'm just going to use this one. And I'm just going to paint the inside of this. And this seems a little pinkish. Yeah, I'm going to need a few coats because I want it to be a dark red, but I'm going to add glitter over it while it's wet. And then maybe a little Mod Podge over it to seal the glitter. So this one's a little darker. And then you get the edges. Try not to get the nail polish all over the place. So what I did was I took the darker red nail polish. This is by CoverGirl. It's called Outlast Stay Brilliant Nail Gloss. Okay, the color is number 185. Forever Festive. Okay, I don't know if they still have this, but I think they do, but you could always find them online. Okay, so I poured a glob of it, and then I just spread it out. And I'm going to put it all over that. Kind of smooth out the grooves. Off. I want to make sure you're getting the... And these are the iridescence kind of sparkles, glitter, whatever. And they're the long pieces, so you can use anything you want. You could even get red nail polish glitter, but I don't have red nail polish glitter. So that's what that's going to look like. I think it was a good choice. after all, because of the grooves. What happens is, as the nail polish settles, it's settling to the grooves inside the pendant tray. And I really don't want to see that. So that looks nice. It's just as nice as the sparkly, it's just as nice as the sparkly cardstock. See? Okay. So this has got to dry before I do anything. And then what I'm going to do is pat it a few times. And so that this doesn't fall out, I'm going to give it a light coat of either clear to seal it or some Mod Podge, and it won't take the glitter away. Let's see. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now it dried, and when I touched it, the glitter wasn't going to go anywhere. So what you got to remember is when, after the nail polish dries, then you put a coat of clear. While the coat of clear is wet and just put on, sprinkle your glitter. Okay, let it dry for about 25 minutes to half an hour, and it wasn't going to go anywhere. I mean, I was shaking it and going like that. So we really didn't need the Mod Podge to seal it in. You could always use the Mod Podge, but all I did was, and it's still staying shiny and glittery, I just put a coat of clear nail polish in it. And it toned down the glitter just a little bit. Now it's kind of wet. When it dries, it'll be even more sparkly. But of course, if you want to keep that, you should use the Mod Podge. But because of doing this video, I wanted to do that. Now it made it a little darker, and it's still shimmery. So this is still a little tacky. The clear nail polish is still a little tacky, and I'm going to let that dry a little. Okay? Okay. So now I'm going to take this, once it's good and dry, and I'm going to see how I want this. I put a little E6000 glue on the bottom, and there it is. From you to make sure that's how you want it. So now I'm going to let this dry. Give it a good push in. I'm going to let this dry. I'm not going to mess with this. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to actually do for this project. And before I do any work on a project, what I do is I sort things out. I change things. Maybe this, maybe that. Do I like this? Okay, so I've gone and glued the rose. This is dry now. This is the next day. This is facing me, not you. So now I have this little key charm. That's my fan on my computer. Sorry about that. And I could either hang this little keychain, this little key charm. I could either hang this little key charm on the bottom, or I can hang a red bead, which brings out the red in the background, which I like. I think I like this better, but I'm kind of torn because I actually like this as well. But then with these elements, I don't want it to be too much silver or metal going on, you know. So what I'm going to have to do is, these are big rose beads, roses on either side, and the holes are on either side. So I'm going to get some wire, and I'm going to put it through and make 2 loops on the side, and then I'm going to attach it. Now I got these were earrings in a kit that I got from Panda Hall way back. I've done on my jewelry tutorial playlist, there's an unboxing or review for that, but it's an old one, so you'll have to scroll pretty much up, and I'll try to put all the links for everything. If I don't have it up right away, I will put them later on, so you can check back if the links aren't below in the description box for all these things that I'm using. Usually when I upload it, I just quickly do a fast job, but then I add the links. So anyway, they came in a kit, and I have more. So, but you can use earring templates as parts for your necklace chains. So I like this. It's the I can't say that name, but anyway, Triquatra. Anyway, you know what this are, and it has hoops that I could connect jump rings to, and then a chain. So I'm going to kind of put that there, and I might stick the middle part with the roses, and then over here I would probably connect it there, and then this could be a chain, and then another chain kind of hanging, and then a chain up there. So that's what I'm thinking. If I don't like it, I can always change things out. So I'm still debating on what looks better. Naturally, I could put one thing, and if later I want to take it out, I can do that as well. But I think I like a little bit of color, so I might go with that, and I can use this for something else later. Okay, so this is what you should do. You should always put things out in front of you when you're trying to figure out. If you just can't, you can go on Pinterest and get some inspiration. Don't copy, but use an inspiration of an idea, because then it usually triggers your own ideas. But if not, play around with pieces and see. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. So probably 2 6mm jump rings. So you're going to need some 6mm jump rings and some 4mm jump rings. Tools, some wire, and this also came in the kit with these earrings, okay? And you get a few of these. I have one more left after this. And they really come in handy. They're very pretty, and I made so many necklaces with that. So like I said, I will be putting the links below in the description box for everything that you're seeing here. Beads, probably not, because I just got these like at Hobby Lobby and wherever. So you could just look for beads like this. Hobby Lobby, I bought a bag full of big chunky beads. So that's easy. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do this. The first thing I want to do is connect the bead and connect this. So I'm going to get my jump rings and I'm going to connect them. Okay, so what I did here was I took 2 6mm jump rings right here, and I attached the teardrop pendant, the red. So what I did was I took 2 6mm jump rings. One I put through the teardrop pendant, which had a hole from side to side, not up and down. Had this had one up, a hole on the bottom and the top, I would have to use a head pin and then cut it and make a loop. But it didn't. It had it from left to right, so it was easy to put a 6mm thin 6mm jump ring through it. Okay. Then I took another 6mm jump ring and put it from the top of the pendant loop to the bottom of this rung over here on the opening. Okay, now I'm going to put this one aside. Now for the next thing, I have to cut 2 pieces of wire, or just one, and then I will so I'm going to cut a piece of wire that's rather long, but not too long. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to cut. I cut it. Now I'm going to cut it in the middle. Leave that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to string this. This has got a pretty big hole in this bead. So I'm going to make a loop. So I'm going to pull that down. And I'm going to make a not too big of a loop, but a reasonable loop. because I don't want you to see such a big loop, because we are going to have okay. So I made a loop like that where it can't go through. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to cut the same amount. Make sure you push from the bottom so that you get the full amount out. And now I'm going to go ahead. Now if you make your loop too big, once you kind of roll it, you can easily trim off the excess once you kind of roll it around. And then you want to make sure it's closed. You want to make sure it's straightened, and that's even. So now I'm just going to repeat the process on the other side. Okay, so before I do the other side, I'm going to show you what I did here. Okay, so I've gone and attached the pieces. So here it is again. I've got 6mm jump ring, and the rings on the chain are 5 rings attached to a 4mm attached to the bead loop, then another 4mm jump ring attached to the chain, which is 4 rings, and then another 4mm jump ring attached to these pieces. Now, you don't have to do the same exact thing. You can get your own type of filigree, your own type of beads, if you wanted to make this. But if not, like I said, I'll put the links below. Okay, so now what I've done is I've attached all the chain. I put the clasp and a 6mm jump ring on both ends, the clasp and that. Now, if I want to make it shorter, I can always take the 5th ring off and keep it 4 and 4 rings. And I'll show you how it sits on my neck, which I might do because I don't like things too long, but it sits perfectly. So now what I'm going to do is I also took 2 6mm jump rings on both sides, so 4 6mm jump rings in all, and took these little black flat on both sides hexagon diamond type cut teardrop beads, and hung them off of that because there was 3 rungs. Now I could have taken a chain and done that. So now I'm playing around with a few other ideas. I was thinking of either putting a rose over here or an acrylic gemstone, like a big one like that, and then 2 little ones like right here on either side. So it's always good to play around before you go ahead and affix something, glue anything, hook anything up, because you may not like what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and I will be back with the final results. So here's the finished result. I'm going to bring it in a little closer. I had glued the acrylic gemstones to the center piece, and then to the triquetras, and I had glued them to these little pieces over here. I know it's not focusing and it's kind of bright, so if I put it far away you can see it. And I really like the way that looks. All the red ties in with the background. I like the way the beads look. And I added the black beads, which you really can't see on here, but to tie into the black rose, I wanted to bring some of that. Now, if you didn't want to have chain, you could put black and red beads and then a chain. It's up to you. I wanted to do this. So this is what it looks like on me. It hangs about from there. It hangs from there to about the top. to straighten this out a little. So that's what it looks like. So that's the way, so this is what it looks like on. This is how it's going to sit when you have it on. Now, if you didn't want these beads, you can omit that. Or if you want to make this just 4 rings instead of 5, like these are 4, you can do that as well. I might just make these that and just bring it up just a smidge. But I have to, of course, wait for the acrylic gemstones to dry. So I like this. It's a combination of the black and the red instead of just all one color or just all silver up here, because that would be kind of boring. I like adding little elements like the bead. Uh, I think that was a much better choice than the key that I was going to put over there. So there it is. There's a Victorian Gothic rose necklace. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in my videos. Bye!